this was the perfect guy.
Because you needed someone who's sort of developing and evaluating quarterbacks and making sure that that quarterback has the ability to process the information relatively quickly. And he's been to 4 or 5 places in the last 5 or 6 years and has had great experiences with a lot of those players who are trying to, overcome either all of those measurable issues. You're talking about Purdy, and no one wanted to have him. Derek Carr, he was able to really help continue playing at a very high level. So those are the things that, I thought that were going to be critical for this organization.
What about right there? And we got some good video of this. It's just him and his 2 sons.
That's what it's about,
running
man.
routes, man. And if we had an opportunity to do that with our dads as kids or our uncles, when it's like to go out on a field and not a multi-million-dollar indoor practice facility, but to watch his kids run route, knowing that he's got to get those kids back to school. He's got to go to the parade. I mean, how big is that parade going to be?
Huge.
In Seattle.
In Seattle?
In Seattle. But I wanted to ask you, because I didn't see on Super Bowl Sunday, that was a bizarre Super Bowl.
It
6-0,
was.
9-0 at the end of the third quarter. I was watching the game with Romo and Rod Woodson.
Okay.
And they were going nuts because they said, where are the screens? Where are the screens from Josh McDaniels to try to take the edge rushers
Really
and settle them
surprised.
down? What did you notice about that game? And then I'll follow up with the way Kubiak called it with Sam Darnold.
Well, first of all, I thought Seattle's defense was ultra prepared. And sometimes, JT, you can over prepare. So you're all these things are going through your mind, and you can be paralyzed by trying to process information. They looked like they were loose, and they were really dictating and jumping on routes. So they had a great understanding of the dynamics. And I was surprised that after maybe the second or third series that we didn't see some kind of change from the Patriots, whether you go to bigger personnel, so you widen the edges, because that tackle, man, that tackle and guard on the left side, they had a whole day.
Why, though?
And
Will Campbell was drafted very high.
Very high.
I know he had an injury. He said he came off an injury there, but I was just surprised that they got dominated the way they did.
And that's why I was surprised, because when you see that, and whether you're up in the box looking at it or on the ground, you see a young quarterback being pressured. He wasn't able to go from 2 to 3 and feel comfortable. So that's when you want to put that extra tight end or that extra guard or that fullback on that edge, just give the opportunities. And you're right about the being able to maybe go quick and do some screens and things like that, just to get the quarterback in a positive frame of mind. It just didn't seem like he was there. But the Patriots played pretty good defense also.
9-0 going into the fourth quarter. So that's one touchdown and the ability to win the game 10-9 if they stopped everything.
Yeah.
And I thought Vrabel and his defensive staff coached a hell of a game until the fourth quarter.
Exactly. And I thought they really did a great job of not allowing the Seahawks to get that big throw early, because in those playoff games, you saw Sam Darnold early in the game, man, having strikes downfield, right, to be able to kind of loosen up and dictate. But they took those things away. But just it comes down to the running game was just too much for the New England Patriots.
Eric Allen, the Hall of Famer, joins us. So before we get into Super Bowl and all that, Amber told us that she asked John Spytek, and you were involved with that, about this Mendoza pick and what's going to happen. There's some Max rumors. We don't buy into rumors, but when you see all this happening here, this was a beautiful day today. It was executed flawlessly by the whole team at Silver and Black Productions. But does it get complicated for you knowing how many picks could come if decisions are made differently, or just keep Max, which I think is going to happen, and just go get Mendoza and start with those 2 guys and this coach?
You know what, JT? I think for both of us, for me, it's very emotional because you love Max Crosby.
Right.
And you want Max to be in meaningful football games, and you're hoping our football team is going to be in those meaningful football games sooner rather than later. But this is an opportunity to maybe get a boatload of picks and players because he is so great. And you just hope that they're able to – the fan in me wants this football team to obviously do what's best, and what's best is to get players in here, because no matter who's coaching, we all know, JT, you got to have dogs, man. You got to have the personnel and the players. Every time the Raiders are a prominent football team, it starts up front. They have an offensive line, they have a defensive line, quarterback, and then you have the skill position players. We don't have that right now, JT, and we got to get that. And so I just hope that Max is a part of that, because I love the guy, and I think he's a all-time Raider player, and it's a difficult decision that Spytek and Davis and Brady and our new coach Kubiak is going to have to make in the next couple of weeks.
Last one for Eric Allen. So I've been dying to ask you this. You go from the Hall of Fame in Canton, the celebrations, all the stadium celebrations.
Yeah.
What happened? I knew last I was texting you in San Francisco, you were on that bus with the class. I got to hear that. Was that like on purpose? Was that what was that all about?
So I fly in from San Diego, and we're trying to gather up, and my son Jordan, we're going to go to the honors together. I'm late. So I'm upstairs getting dressed. He's late because he's visiting family members up in the area. So obviously I don't get an opportunity to get a Uber or whatever to go down there. So I call the Hall of Fame people and like, hey, listen, I'm going to be a little late, but I'm trying to get there. And they're like, oh, we're still downstairs. And I'm like, oh, great. So I come downstairs. Everyone else is gone because you couldn't get in 5:30. They close the doors. You can't get in because they want the new class to come in the back way like we did last year. So I walk downstairs, and as soon as I walk downstairs, I run into Fitz.
Larry Fitzgerald.
I'm like, oh, my gosh. And I look over. I see Roger Craig. I see. So I text you immediately. I'm like, JT, I'm on the bus with the new guys. But I didn't give you the names until afterwards because I didn't want – I knew you wouldn't do it. But I only gave that text to maybe 4 or 5 people, and you were one of them. But it was great. I was on the bus with Drew. I'm talking Drew Brees. They're like, what's going on? And I'm like, listen, guys, it's going to be a whirlwind. So I'm talking to Drew. I'm talking to all the guys about, why I think it's such a great time in their lives. And, to really, while we're celebrating you, as Drew Brees and Kuechly and all these guys, make sure you're celebrating those people who have been on this journey for the long time. And so I just had a really great hour or so just talking with them about what's going to happen and everything.
And you remember the story. We had Luke Kuechly at the Torch.
Yes.
And we didn't know about you in the Hall of Fame.
Exactly.
We were both convinced he was going in first ballot.
Exactly.
And he would have went in with you.
Yeah.
And again, I don't want to get too political, but Kraft didn't get in.
Right.
Belichick didn't get in. Vinatieri didn't get in with you, which I thought was a big miss because you only had 4 in your class.
We only had 4 really
There
tight.
was room for Kuechly and Vinatieri in your class.
There were.
And that didn't happen. So see those guys who weren't first ballot, how was that handled?
It was great. And Jim Porter, the new president, has done an unbelievable job of making sure this thing is about the players. And he has a big input and who is knocking on the door for these players. He wants to be about the players. The one thing in our luncheon, he stood up and he said, I would be concerned if there wasn't a lot of questions about our process this year. And I thought about that, and I said, he's right. There's a bunch of questions about the process and what happened this year. And if it just kind of went under the radar, it would be a problem because it wouldn't be as big as you want it to be. So he's going to do everything he can to make sure things are right. I love him. He's a great guy. He has the Hall of Fame exactly where we want it to be. And I'm just excited about this new class coming in.
Make some room for me and my wife in San Diego. I need a break. We've been going
we got the new sign, the Point Loma, to let you know that when you're coming to the community, it's lit up. It's right there, and we're gonna have you over this off season because after all the crazy stuff, we're able to kind of relax and sit down.
Just an insight for you. I got your jersey going up in my house.
All right,
with Otto, Freddie B, Jim
awesome.
Brown, Joe Montana. So you'll come to my house and see that. We're done with Eric Allen. He was fantastic to give us this time.